Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Lil Brunson back at you with the back at you, and I'm the best reporting on the Eagles. Before we get into the meat and potatoes, I gotta let you know, I'm gonna let you know that this video was brought to you by Print Champs, big Print Champs in the building, bringing you the iconic Hurt Season hats, the Hurt Season tee. With your purchase of the Hurt Season tee, you definitely get any Hurt Season hat that you want at a discounted rate via the Print Champs shop. Make sure you tap in right there and use code BULLY10 at checkout and get your discounts and all of that stuff, man. I want to thank y'all real quick for streaming. God bless who hating. The numbers are fantastic. I love it. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to get back in the booth here shortly and drop another project. You know, that's just what I do. And thank y'all too for subbing up to the NFCE Super Friends channel. I'm sorry, man. Make sure y'all sub that channel right now. We over 5,000 subscribers there. You know what I mean? Doing daily numbers. And check out my last video there on the recap of week 2 for the NFC East. Let's talk about the week 3 matchup between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But before we get into that, I definitely want to let you guys know that the Philadelphia Eagles are making some moves, in order to, subsidize what we've been missing on the defensive side of the ball in terms of injuries go. So we did sign to the practice squad Tywan Mullen, cornerback. I think he went undrafted, but I really like this kid, man. This kid is really, really scrappy, can tackle. I like him around the line of scrimmage. I just think he's a bit undersized, a bit small, but I like what this kid brings to the table. You know what I mean? This is an all-around football player on the defensive side of the ball, whether you blitzing him from that corner position, whether he's in coverage, whether he is forced to tackle, he does it all. So I'm anxious to see how this kid career goes. You know, it makes sense that we bring in a cornerback. Kyron Johnson, familiar name, linebacker, also is onto the practice squad. We just need to get all the pieces we can get at this point to see what best fits for Zach Cunningham. I think is rounding out into form, so I'm pleased with what we've been getting from Zach Cunningham in the linebacker core. But the real question against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is who's going to start at safety. Who's going to start at slot cornerback for the Philadelphia Eagles? You know what I mean? During the rest of the season, Avante Maddox is out. If I had to guess, I would say Sidney Brown would slide down to that position because we still have Trey Edmonds. We still have Evans, who made some great plays against the Vikings. So I want to see Sidney Brown. Sidney Brown played some great snaps, at the slot position at the collegiate level, and I think he can do it. I think when the Philadelphia Eagles drafted Sidney Brown, they saw a little Avante Maddox there because Avante Maddox came in as a safety at first. Then he transitioned over to slot. So I think that, Sidney Brown is a guy who could make that transition, but we just got to put him there, throw him in the fire, and let him get his feet wet. Bradbury is also an option there. Eli Ricks can move to the outside if Bradbury is an option there. It's a lot of things you can move. Job, he probably deserves another look or two in terms of what he could do for this team. But, we just got to wait and see. We don't know what the plan is going to be there. We won't know until Monday Night Football when we go up against another 2-0 team, and that's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they beat the Browns, they beat the Bears, and I believe they beat the Vikings. I'm not sleeping on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Listen, I always judge these things by quarterbacks, but this is the thing, man. We are the hunted. That's the bottom line. We are the hunted. We were in the Super Bowl last year. Everybody wants to give us their best shot. And I respect the Tampa Bay Buccaneers early in the season right now. I really do. I respect the way Baker's looked good 2 weeks in a row. I respect the way that Baker is, approaching the game, looking like he's trying to find a home for himself. I respect the fact that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a team that hasn't shown through week 2 that they would shy away from the run. I think they're averaging around close to 30 runs a game. Correct me if I'm wrong. But, when you're going up against a secondary like the Philadelphia Eagles, maybe you bring that down a little bit to probably 25 and add 5 more passing plays there, depending on what's happening. Because the secondary is a weak point for the Philadelphia Eagles. You can't really knock that. We've given up 2 back-to-back 300-yard passers from Mac Jones and Kirk Cousins, so something got to shake. We got to find some stability there. But the main thing with that is we haven't lost the game. So, the first key for me for the Philadelphia Eagles is to, make sure that you be aware of the 15 scripted plays because Tampa Bay is going to try everything from what I've seen. I looked at the all 22 of their win from the Bears last week. What you saw in that was, a slew of plays. You saw some running plays to test how the Chicago Bears were going to play them. You saw some misdirection that tests the eye discipline of Chicago Bears. Some trickery, great play design, right here. with Baker Mayfield, faking the end around. This play could have went either way, but they had guys, they're testing gap discipline. So the Philadelphia Eagles got to be wary of that. When your calling card on defense is your defensive front and how you can get after the quarterback, dudes are not going to let the quarterback hold the ball long unless you can jump out to an early lead. That's very possible in this game that the Philadelphia Eagles, we could blow the doors off of this and force Baker Mayfield into more passing situations than we want to. But, as long as we keep this game close, we are susceptible to, these guys having the full arsenal of their playbook available. So you got to be able to stop the run and you got to maintain gap discipline. If you take away the run and make their only means of approach passing the ball, that way we could better telegraph what we're looking at, from this team. Listen, the last 2 games we've came into this thing handicapped. We've come into this thing handicapped, And Baker Mayfield is also showing, great poise and great chemistry with Mike Evans. Baker is throwing balls, before Mike Evans even turned his head. That's chemistry. That's time being put in. So let's make sure that we're aware of Mike Evans and where Mike Evans is at all times. Let's make sure we're aware of it. And I think you got to pay attention to that. Mike Evans had a good game. Mike Evans looks really good for a guy that wants a new contract. Mike Evans is playing like he got a point to prove. And Bradbury should be back for this game. Slay ain't never go nowhere. So I'm not worried about who we going to match up there. But they have a number 2 wide receiver who could be just as deadly in Chris Godwin. So we got to make sure that we don't let Baker Mayfield beat us with his arm. He's very capable of doing it. So making sure we get adequate pressure and on these run situations and edge discipline, because they're going to try to test the eyes of the defense. They're going to do it. This defense is quote unquote struggling. So, it's what I would do. And you saw that against the Bears. They're going to try to make sure that this front four doesn't get home. So pay attention for any quick passes, anything of that nature. Now, on the offensive side of the ball, what the Philadelphia Eagles got to do, in my opinion, is whatever, just take what the defense is giving you. Listen, when you're this dynamic of a football team, when you could win in so many different ways, I'll explain. I feel like the Philadelphia Eagles can beat you through the air, which is why people are dropping 8 in coverage the last 2 weeks. All of these guys from the Bill Belichick tree, they're dropping 8 in coverage to prove that, we're going to make Jalen Hurts think, and we're not going to let these guys beat us with his arm and have these guys playing one-on-one with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. That's not what you want to do against the Philadelphia Eagles. What you want to do is drop dudes in coverage. And what we got to do if people keep dropping the house in coverage is run the ball. I think we've realized that. We've realized that, our scripted plans don't mean anything because we could win anyway. Now, of course, you're going to come out there with a plan of attack. But if you want to counter us throwing the ball by you dropping all these guys in coverage and try to confuse us and challenge the eye discipline of us, then we just going to run the ball down your throat. We got it like that. We got it like that to do it. It might not look pretty, but that's always the correct answer of taking what the defense give you. You got to do what you got to do to be 3-0. I don't care about throwing for 500 passing yards. Listen, I care about winning the Super Bowl, man. We just lost in the Super Bowl. I can't reiterate that enough. It's all about stacking wins, getting home field advantage, and getting back to this game and making sure we bring the trophy back. So if you want to drop 8 in coverage, I don't give a damn what wide receiver pout. I don't care who cry. I don't care who not getting the ball. If you want to drop 8 in coverage, then DeAndre Swift, Rashard Penny, them dudes going to rush for 5,000 yards this season. Keep doing it, because this offensive line is ready to get out and hit and get to the next level. We saw it. So, like the time of, winning and having it looking a certain way, that's not the type of time that I'm on. I don't care who you bash, the coach, Jalen Hurts. It's all about getting to 3-0. That's the only thing that matters. So, we're going to see how the defense approach this, and we're going to adjust to what the defense is doing, because you can't stop both. You can't stop the run, and you can't stop the pass. You have to pick your poison, but either way, it's poison that you're going to drink when you're looking at a Philadelphia Eagles offensive attack. I want to point this out. People claiming that we're struggling, but we had back-to-back player of the week. First week, the kicker had to do his thing. Second week, the running game had to do his thing. Don't worry. People are now afraid of the run, so what they're going to do is they're going to start crowding that box and probably trying to give us different looks, dropping dudes off. They're going to show blitz and drop back, just run the ball. It'll open up. I promise you it'll open up. So, I think this game, the Philadelphia Eagles going to take care of business. I think we drop another 30 points in this game. 33-31, 33-17. I know these guys are at home, but I feel like, we're a little angry. And I feel like there's going to be an emphasis on looking A.J. Brown's way a lot this game. And I think A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts are going to help us get off to a strong start. That way our defense can pin his ears back and get after Baker Mayfield. Make them guys change their game plan. So you know what I mean? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. How do you think the Philadelphia Eagles should approach this game? Give me your score predictions, all of that stuff. But getting to 3-0 is the only thing that matters to me.